land. I have to go and buy land elsewhere where there is title deed. Because if I do a plant, they will start saying, because he's a governor, he's actually oppressing the entire clan. Because he has money, he wants to oppress all of us. So I'll create even conflict in my clan because we have not demarcated the land among ourselves. I don't even have a title as I speak here. So that means we really need to fix that problem as we fix the investment. Thank you so much and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Governor. Deputy Governor Riwe, can you speak to what are the priorities for Marsabit County?
First and foremost, I stand in for His Excellency Governor Mahmoud. I want to appreciate the work done, the research done by the team, the support given to the team. The work was wonderfully done, and we are really pleased to see the work done. And I want to appreciate the team that went to Marsabit, and I hope they went when things were good. Because some 2-3 years down the line, Ismail understands how Marsabit was. There was a time Marsabit was banned, and everybody knew that it is very difficult to be in Marsabit. Even the indigenous people of Marsabit started to move out of Marsabit because the place was not habitable. But thank to God, 2 years down the line, and we are peaceful. We have relative peace. When Interpeace came, they came when the town was burning. You could not walk in Marsabit town, especially if you are coming from the warring community. You'll just find yourself shot. And the assassins that were used then, they will not miss you. They will shoot you the right place, which is the head. So it was a very difficult time for us. But thank God we are here, and we really appreciate that we have peace now. I think the team, the Interpeace team, knows very well the people that were used in peace building. We went to the ground, to the elders of different communities. That is how we finally had the peace. And the reason as to why people decided to embrace peace is not because of anything. They got tired. They got tired of fighting. They got tired of killing each other. They also learned the impact of the lack of peace. So finally they embraced peace. I come from Marsabit town, where we say is the cradle of mankind. So all of you here, you're from Marsabit. So I'm speaking to people from Marsabit. If you're a man, you are living there, and that is Kenya we're talking about. And that is the Kenya that the researchers said had been forgotten. If you go to Ilede town, my people will find that people don't even use shilling. They use birr, Ethiopian currency. For those who went there, they understand what I'm talking about. But that is in Kenya, meaning that is a place that has been forgotten. So if you're a Kenyan and you're getting the good cake of this government, understand that there's a place which is in Kenya, but practically not in Kenya. Okay? So even to go to that place, how you travel to that place, I wish those who are in top government, they travel by road and experience what people experience. So if you say, for example, there is crisis in Ileret, or even another part of Marsabit, the amount of money you use, the time you will use to reach those people, you will spend a lot of money. And then finally, the Auditor General will say you misuse money. Because the Auditor General has never been to that place. So we will not understand. So, and because most of these things that are made in Kenya, the policies are made here in Nairobi, are not made in Marsabit, are not made from the ground. So I'm happy that at least the research done covers very well different places or the counties that are mentioned here. So the challenges that are facing all these counties are completely different. So for you being the man of this country and you've never been home, that is Marsabit County, that's a big challenge to you. You are a Kenyan and you've never been home. So please come home and build home. Invest at home. You know, it is even a shame for African man to build outside home. Am I right? So for you, because you are Kenyan and you have never built home, which is Marsabit, that is shame. So I really welcome you. The issues that has not been mentioned here. My brother Wesley mentioned the NPRs. Even as late as last month, we were requesting for more NPRs in Marsabit. Smile and the rest understand why. Because Marsabit is vast. You've had more than 71,000 square kilometers. That is Marsabit. And Wesley talked about, my brother Mark talked about equalization fund. When that issue came, even Kiambu said they want it. Even the central provinces, all these said they want it. These are the people who don't know these places we are talking about. Places that have been left out by different regimes. You know, like some of our leaders in those days, they told us to stay the way you are, and we accepted to stay the way we were. That is how we were left out of all kinds of development that were taking place in Kenya. People are complaining about tarmac road they need here in the village. But us, we need tarmac road from Marsabit to Ileret. Those 400 kilometers, you'll never understand. But if you go there, you'll understand. So please, for development partners, please visit us. I won't talk about the one border point, which is in Moyale. From Moyale to Ileret is more than 800 kilometers porous borders. People from Ethiopia and Kenya can cross anytime, anyhow, doing any kind of thing they feel like doing. Nobody's aware of that. But nobody will tell you about this. Madam Amina, you remember the president of Kenya, the former president, and the prime minister, former prime minister of Ethiopia, they signed an agreement at the border that we build that border, it becomes a Dubai of Kenya. That is a pipe dream, has never taken any step. It has never moved anywhere. So every time when we meet with these leaders, we talk about this. We met with president, former president, many times. Even the prime minister, even in person, I was part of the team. We talked about this. So that at least we can open this place. A lot of criminals can get in, get out anytime. You've heard about the recent one where a lorry was attacked and was bombed, kind of. It was burnt to ashes with people inside. That is where I come from. Where arms can get in, get out any time. Where security is not enough to cover the whole county. That is why we needed PRs. You might not understand. So this is one thing that I feel like we go back to even that agreement that was signed by the former president and the former prime minister of Ethiopia, so that we can develop this place and open this place for business. It's a business opportunity that has not been mentioned. Trade has not been mentioned in your findings. There is a big market. Ethiopia has a population of more than 200 million. So that's a big market for Kenya. But the saddest part is our border is open, Kenyan side, as the research has mentioned, but the other side is not open, and they can close anytime. While you are across, I was once across there for a meeting, and the border was closed. That's now your problem. You will sort out where you're going to sleep until the border is open. That is another country. We can't discuss that. It's a different thing. But if that border would be open, there is a big opportunity for all of us. Kenya at large, and even Ethiopia. Then another thing that has not been open is minerals. We have minerals, many minerals in Marsabit, a lot. Limestone, gypsum, sand, and even recently we have gold in a place called Dabel. It's a big opportunity for this country. The mine has been closed, according to the Minister for Internal Security, more than 2-3 months ago. But the mine is still operating. And that's in Kenya. The law is there. So that's the reason why I'm telling you, we're talking something very difficult that's not practical. If you go there today, you'll find more than 30, 40,000 people doing the mining there. But according to us here in Nairobi, that place is closed. It's very close to even the border. So even in terms of security, it's very risky. So it's an opportunity. You cannot tell me there is gold here and please stop, come to that place. You understand me? Especially if you are poor. There is food here, please don't come. Is it practical? So it's an opportunity there. This is a big opportunity for this country and is opportunity for Marsabit and Kenya at large. I want also to mention about tourism. It's an opportunity that has not been exploited completely in Marsabit. Marsabit has diverse climatic conditions. We also have mountain for people from Central. We have Mount Marsabit. We have Mount Kula. People from Central talk about the mountain. We have even our own. I hope all of us have mountains in our villages. And these are opportunities for us. If you mention your mountain, I will mention mine. And it's a good tourist attraction site. Very nice place. We have Chalbi Desert in Marsabit. And there's a national heritage here in tourism. Here in National Museum. You go there, he's from Marsabit. If you want to meet his offspring, come to Marsabit. You'll meet many. These are more opportunities that are there that have not been exploited. These are opportunities that have not been mentioned in the research. My brother mentioned about the Lake Turkana, about the wind farm. We have the biggest wind farm. And he mentioned the saddest part that we don't have power in Marsabit. Even the next village, next to Loyangalani, has no power. And yet they produce power. And the Kenyans in Nairobi are using our power. They are not even paying us. That is how conflict comes about. We have this resource here. You are people using from Nairobi. We are not using. The next village, I'm telling you the next village, you'll go there and see for yourself practically. They don't have power. That is unfairness that is there in this country. So, I really concur with what they say, the process. People from the village the next village have to get the advantage now. Culture, I want to mention this finally. We have more than 15 ethnic groups in Marsabit. A third of Kenyan ethnic groups are found in Marsabit. A third. Come and meet these communities. We have cultural festival. We have a lot of riches in Marsabit. A lot, I want to tell you, that have not been exploited for many years. We have the Kikuyus of Marsabit. They have land there, they own there, their business there, they live there.
Because of the mountains?
Because of the mountain is there.
They love mountains.
So what I want to tell you is, welcome to Marsabit. These opportunities are there. As I said, we have these different groups. So sometimes when you hear this small conflict in Marsabit, it's inevitable for communities that are living in one place, harmoniously. Is a richness that we have never exploited. So welcome to that place. You'll feel for yourself the opportunities that for all of us to use as a country. If you have excess population in other parts, please bring them to Marsabit. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Governor. I'll now turn to the two representatives who are representing regional blocks, two very important regional blocks. We've already heard that it can be anywhere from 63 to 74% of the land mass of Kenya. So, given all of the challenges and the opportunities that have been shared, Ms. Joyce, I wanted to ask, what is NORAD doing, for example, to address some of these challenges as an institution on behalf of the regional bloc that's being represented?
Thank you very much. Our appreciation to Interpeace and its partners for this meeting and for the work that has gone into the research. NORAP as an economic bloc, we basically is a coordinating body for the 8 North Rift counties, that is from Turkana all the way to Samburu. And as part of providing a solution to the many challenges that are faced by our counties, we recognize that 5 out of the 8 counties in the North Rift are in conflict. They are in the Kerio belt. And so two approaches that we have taken as an economic bloc in an effort to be a voice and to be of help, of value in addressing these issues, is an approach of looking at all these issues from a gender perspective, from a gender lens. With support from Reinvent, we've developed a gender strategy for the region. You may ask yourself, why gender? But because issues gender are intertwined so much with the issues peace and security in our communities. At times we might look at, especially women, let me use the example of women in our communities, especially in the North Rift. It is a gender that is, these communities are largely patriarchal. So we make the assumption that women are not involved in the conflict. Women are not involved in cattle rustling and raiding and making an economy out of the whole cycle of animal theft and transportation. But when you look deeply into the communities, you realize that there is a cultural aspect of affirmation and being seen as a total man, let me use that term. For someone who has been able to go raid and bring home cows, they are praised, they receive a lot of affirmation from the family, from their wives, from their mothers. When these cows are raided and they are brought home, what happens next? I mean, they will be taken care of, they will be milked. Who is doing the milking? It is the ladies, it is the women. So at the end of the day, even if we feel that they are not part of the conflict, of the war, they are recipients of what happens in the conflict and what happens in the raid. They actually can give you more information about the raids and the conflict more than probably the area chief or the OCS, because they know who went for the raid. It is their husbands, it is their sons. When the cows come home, they are the ones who milk, so they know which homestead has new livestock that was not there last evening. So if they are to give you that information, you might actually know more of what is happening in the raid, more than the police and the OCS and the government administration can give you. And that is why, as NORAP, we felt a gender strategy for the region and looking for interventions through the gender lens that would be able to impact on peace and security and involve them in the fight for peace and for peaceful coexistence of communities, because they are the ones who they play the role in what we call chini ya maji. They are actors, but up here and in our conversation and in our policy making, we want to assume that they have no role, but they are very active down there and they drive the whole conversation. So that is one approach. The other approach is on climate change, because a lot of the conflict that happens in our region is resource-based conflict. It's about pasture, it's about water, it's about movement of animals, it's about this community came and grazed in our area and took off with our animals. So if that can be resolved, then we will get to see a decline in the level of conflict, because if we can have communities have their own pasture, have access to water for their animals, because that is their livelihood. and probably give them alternative livelihood in terms of livestock production and commercialize it. Then we kill this other aspect of the commercialization of the rains and the cattle rustling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Yassin, my question for you, I know that FCDC, I think Nora also is a part of FCDC, and FCDC represents so many counties, and is the main sort of interlocutor between the counties and the national governments as well. What sort of policy changes or policy environment that do you think is necessary in order to really make these counties more attractive for investment?
Thank you very much. I have first to make a confession. Yeah, me and my sister here, I think I joined at the hip, not because we have mountains only, but some of the counties now are also part of FCDC. So that's one admission. The other admission is that, just like the PS had said, she's looking at Ambassador Amin as a role model. For me, we have met twice, and in all those instances, my boss. One, she is the one who wrote my letter of appointment when I was serving at the NCIC. So sometimes I go to my archives and I see your letter of appointment. One. Two, secondly, working at the museum, she became my line minister. But I can assure you, I never went to see her because I don't cause trouble. So again, PS, you are not alone. Thirdly, I'm a he for she. So we need more men to talk about women issues. Yeah, so the role of FCDC very clear, and what we have been doing basically is to help the counties. Again, I speak with a lot of fear because my bosses are here. They actually tell us what to do, but in this case, we help them coordinate, just like my sister here, in terms of law, legislation, policy frameworks. And I can tell you, in the last few years, a majority of them have already adopted peace building framework. And some of the counties already have laws in place, and they're saying the template there, it just needs to change the name of the counties, and you are there. So again, we have been helping them doing that at other levels. We sit with them when they are going to national treasury. There was a big debate about this equalization fund, sharing of revenue. What formula should be used? Is it the population? What weight should be given the population? The land mass, 3/4, according to what we are hearing. Is that a factor? Because if you are talking of population, then you lose it in the FCDC counties, because there are only 12 million as opposed to 38 or thereabout. Also allow me to bring in my own experience. I also consult for an institution called, an NGO called Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, and I basically work in Nigeria. So for us to share the experience, first to thank the JJ brothers, Jackson and James. I think you have done well, but what I would have liked to see, maybe it is in your report, and this is borrowing from my own experience. One, I would have liked to see more about smart agriculture. I think we know what it means. Doing things maybe in a more efficient way. Regeneration agriculture, we call it, link it to conservation, because some of these areas, when we are talking of mining, peace and all that, it becomes important. Modern livestock husbandry. I wanted you to talk about ranches. There's an experience from Nigeria where they say, with fodder banks, pasture gives you more money. Grass, just growing grass, gives you more money than maize, because you can harvest it twice or thrice a year. For maize, maybe it's only once a year. So I think let's see how these models can work. And of course, climate change. I facilitate process of dialogue in climate. We call it environmental peacemaking, where the issue is not ownership. The issue is shared threats on climate change and shared opportunities. So again, we need to see how we can introduce here. Gender and inclusion, she's spoken about it. We need to be very creative to do it in Kenya, but even for the process in Nigeria, which are supported by the German, we have two programs. We are calling it Weathering Risk Pillar. The other one is Peace Corps. And they insist, if you want to get German funding, inclusion, gender and inclusion is key. And we have been told there are 3 R's. 1 R is presentation. The women have to be at the table. Design all over. Up to sustainable structure. Secondly, resources. They have to be given resources. And the third R is rights. Women rights are human rights. It's not a privilege. They have to be heard. They have to be represented. It's not a question of adding and starting. It's a question that they have to be involved fully. So that when I say I'm here for she, I advocate exactly that. What I did not see in your presentation also, the JJ brothers, you did talk about LabSet. It connects the economic zone of some of these counties. And finally, cooperatives. When we're talking of, if we're looking at security, particularly for the other LSX, it's very difficult. They don't own land in some cultures. We know them, but perhaps through cooperatives, then we can create that opportunity for them getting loans and all that. Finally, a personal experience. One time, traveling to Nigeria, I said I'm sharing my experience. The immigration people came to my hotel, and they told me to go and report at the immigration officers in one of the states. So I went there, and they looked at my visa. I said, my brother, what business are you doing? Your visa is business here. I said, yes, I'm doing business. What kind of business, Are you a manufacturing firm? Are you a business person? I said, no. I'm a businessman, but in the peace business. I said, how is peace a business? And I told them, we go even further. We don't only make profits, but we also have peace dividends. They say, what is that? So exactly this is what we are doing now. How we can now create a nexus between peace, development, and security. So that becomes the challenge of all of us in this room. I wanted to stop there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We wanted to give the chance now for anyone in the audience who would like to ask a question to our distinguished guests.
Okay. Here.
Thank you very much. I just want to first congratulate the organization of this forum. I think it is quite an eye-opener. But in doing so, let me also start by congratulating His Excellency the Governor of Mandera for the accolades you got globally in the last 2 weeks. And in that sense, actually, I think also, given what happened, I think you should amplify it a little more for Kenyans to come and see Mandera. Because, what you have done there, you have shown us, we don't have a desert if we decide it is not a desert. So that is good. But I want to congratulate the governor of Marakwet, because from where I stand and having looked at environment management and environment economics for a long time, I think you got it right. Indeed, because The biggest problem we have had, of course, even if you have infrastructure, but the households are not organized to take opportunity, then we don't see the difference. And let me just share the perspective that if, for example, the smallholder farmers, the households even in what you call the Mlimakupwa in Central, had not been taught, and places like Kericho and so on, if the households had not been taught how to grow tea and how to get organized to grow tea, this country would be very chaotic, because the levels of poverty in those densely populated areas would not have around us the peace we have today. Therefore, the focus on households is very critical, and I'm actually sure you will succeed. The only caveat I would like to add to that is what has just been said. We need to organize households in terms of cooperatives. Even if the ladies, for example, go to their work groups and so on, it is good that they're in cooperatives. Even poor households, when they are organized in terms of, therefore, as a sense of social capital, their potential sometimes exceeds that of a government. And we haven't given it sufficient attention. I can say from my personal cooperative and hopeful perspective, the main difference between Tanzania and Kenya in terms of the past development trajectories has been the deficit, even for Nigeria, is the deficit they have in terms of social capital at the household level compared to what Kenya has had because of the way the cooperatives have been developed. And therefore, I would encourage all of you to take a little more effort, and even your development partners to take a little more effort to organize households. Poor farmers with a few goats who are organized are probably richer than whatever the government is likely to do for them. And finally, I would also therefore want to say that again, it hasn't been talked about here, but I have felt for some time that, we are faith-based organizations and we don't make sufficient use of them in terms of how, you can direct them with very little incentives to help you to organize your communities to achieve. And that is not unique to the northern frontier districts. It is actually common across, people just go and play and so on, and after that they go. But look at it this way. For example, madrasas and education. Okay, how you could integrate madrasas and formal education to get much better results in education than we get. And it is true, even in other places where education is going down, that we have a lot of opportunity of using our communities through faith-based organizations to achieve much better results in terms of social development. So those are just my few perspectives I wanted to offer. Thank you very much.
I have a couple more questions here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jerry Durango. I am an investment advisory. So I actually seek out opportunities and we work with investors, both locally and international, to partner with teams on the ground to be able to, I can say, deploy funds. So this was a very interesting session that I've attended today. And from the discussion with the panel, there are quite a number of opportunities that I felt we can get investors to plug into. However, just to mention some items that I'd like to be maybe clarified or commented on. From investment advisory, we like to look at that investment agreement that was mentioned initially. And in this investment agreement, who are these partners that you're talking about? Where are these sectors? And I saw very good sectors that people can get into. Currently, I'm working with Gulf Investment Bank. These are the people who own Gulf Investment Bank, Gulf Energy, Gulf Power. And with the sovereign funds that we manage, these are the areas that they get to look at. I like the idea that AFDB is coming up with a security indexed investment bond. Very new concept. We hope you can capture the capital markets to tap into it. However, there's something that has been mentioned by the previous commenter in terms of working with religious bodies. Right now, we are trying to develop a sukuk. Either it will go into humanitarian. We've had one in Kenya that has gone into infrastructure. And we know sukuk are actually towards the Muslim faith. And funny enough, we have religious institutions like the Catholic Church that want to go into impact and ethical investing. Anyone who wants that, they will get to put their money into it. And remember, with ethical and impact investing, or even Sharia compliant investing, it's not short term. It's normally long term, because we want to see the outcome. So maybe my next question would be, what is this comfort that you're getting from the national government and the county government? Is it going to be, right now, I think the current leaders, we have 2 years to go, then another 5 years. So what is this comfort that we'll get as an investor? And maybe this falls under the PS and maybe the county government. What is this comfort that we'll get as investors? By the time that you're coming in and developing a fund, bringing in capital markets, and we get to roll it out. Apart from the German investors that are going to come in, or the development funds or the DFIDs that are going to come in, investors will definitely need to get that comfort from these particular endeavors so that we're also able to play into it. I like the fact that you mentioned on the social capital. Again, the women, if you educate a woman, they normally say you've educated the entire community. So I understand what Norep was actually talking about. I understand what Dr. Ahmed was also talking about, that yes, let's have a gender focus and let's look at the grassroots so that we're able to work on it.
Good morning. I'm John Chema with Chamber of Commerce in Marakwet. I only wanted to remind my governor what he said is true. I only wanted to remind him of one thing. He talked about water, yes, rivers, but I wanted to remind him that he forgot the conservation of water. Actually, in Marakwet, we have water, yes, it is not sufficient. So we need quality and quantity. Another thing I wanted to say, there was time when Kirio River was dry. Now, crocodiles and snakes came from Flossburg or Kimware area up to Russia. Now, to me, that was conflict. So we should also try to know how we are going to stay with animals so that it will not be dignified for human beings, but also animals. Lastly, I wanted to say shortage of everything causes conflict. So we need to know how we are going to conserve. And last statement for an old man like me, I wanted to say, when property comes through the door, love flies through the window. That's why we fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Belinda. I work for Hello Tractor. At Hello Tractor, we do tractor financing, but our major solutions are on providing fleet management solutions to tractor owners. So there are a few activities that we've done in 2 of the counties represented up front. Maybe I'll start with Marsabit and then get to Marakwet. For Marsabit, we recently tried out doing conservation agriculture to the communities around there. Of course, it was a pilot program because that's something that has not been done in the area before. So we sent out a tractor and a chisel plow just to ensure that the soils there are well taken care of. So what I wanted to know from the representative of Marsabit, Honorable Ali, is from our operations in the area, we really had a rough time to get the community the communities around there to embrace the practice because they're already used to the normal, churning of the soil with the disc plow. And of course, we had to do a lot of mobilization, a lot of sensitization, education, just to let them allow us to do their fields. So I'd like to know on your part, is conservation agriculture something that you're interested in? Of course, I know that your region is largely for livestock, but of course our people need food to eat. And so I would like to know if this is an area that you're interested in. And I'm also interested to know which people you're partnering with to promote conservation agriculture within the region. My second question is to Honorable Wesley Rotich from Elgeyo Marakwet. As Hello Tractor, we also do affordable tractor financing for unbankable farmers in various regions so that they are able to get a 75 horsepower tractor and an implement at just 5% of deposit, so that they are able to, be able to do production in their area. I'm interested about the sorghum production that you mentioned in your region. Of course, 80%, the research mentioned that your people depend 80% on agriculture, right? So then that means that agriculture for Elgeyo Marakwet is a big thing. And so I wanted to know what practices do you put in place, especially in land preparation? Because it's only when land preparation is done well that the yields are also come out well. So those are my concerns.
Two more then.
Morning. I think it's still morning. Is it afternoon? So afternoon now is 05 minutes. So my name's Khalifa Bey. I will start from backward. That is to all, I think, the excellencies and the FCDCs. One is about the research. Research gives us the gaps, but are we ready to implement it? The second is that we have resources. There's resource fatigue. Donors, 60 years down the line, we are still putting our hands to the donors. We have our own resources with us. Malabo Declaration has just said we invest 10% of our resources in agriculture, which of course will reverse the whole thing we are talking about here. Because the nexus is peace. But peace, when I'm angry, I don't think that there's any peace. So down the line, 6 years down the line, Northern Kenya is still talking about peace when investment, 3/4 of the budget is going into the national security. And research and innovation is very clear that we can do a lot with that investment and reduce, of course, the burden of this. I know, Your Excellencies, you have a lot of resources, but also you carry a lot of liabilities. But can you just give 2% of resources that is given to you back to the communities on the production so that you respond to the consumer needs? Because you will be setting a precedence and of course move out of what all of us are talking here. Because one thing is that county has shown here, and we are being shown everywhere, the investment opportunities. After this workshop, I think all of us, normally in my language and also culture, we have a very bad animal that's called hyena, and forget very fast. After here, we just forget everything that has been done, and of course, we go with the reports, and it carries the dust. The brains are here, the good brains are here. I think we need to move the conversation out of these big hotels and workshops to the implementation perspective.
because policies are there, but our policies, we have never taken stock of this country. From Sessional Paper 5 of 1965 of marginalization to just recent one of 2008 of the policies that has come out that has integrated a lot of these issues on top of even northern Kenya, which is 89% of this landmass. 89%, which is still turning this country, is turning into ASAL. 89% is carrying, it's becoming to be ASAL. So can we speak to our hearts, not our minds, and implement it? Because it is surely very bad image when donors are sitting here investing billions of shillings, and at the further end, because we know, my friend from FCDC is talking about LabSet project. We are now, Navy is talking about an investment, capital investment from Isiolo to Mandera. That is 1960 down the line. We're talking about opening up ASAL counties. But this is a fragile environment, carrying a lot of opportunities, not only on livestock production, but also in the very big investment of the woodland resource base that we normally carry. So I think we need to revisit the whole of our conversation and just twinkle it from where we live, because like what JJ have said already here, it's a very big words, big, big, big. But now, can we just trickle it down, take one implementation matrix and say, this is what I can run away with it and invest in it. Thank you.
Please be brief, we are
Thank you.
short of time.
Thank you very much. My name is Sam Makine from Africa's Voices Foundation. As Africa's Voices, we believe in development as a conversation, and so we endeavor to place the voices of citizens at the center of decision making and development. And therefore, I want to encourage all of us to think of development in that perspective, because we do what we do in the name of and for the benefit of the people, and then they have to be right in the middle of it. And so my